Homegrown Radio.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Soul Cafe, where we get to have meaningful conversations, heart-to-heart conversations, and conversations that impact society. My name is Thuso. It's a name and a surname because it's serious like that. And as you can see, I am not alone. You know what they say, the more the merrier. I am joined by Major Keys and Shikdi, aka Bokang, aka Bokang Makiti.
Oh yes.
Which name do you prefer?
Between Bokang, Kitty, and Shikdi.
Yeah.
You see, when I'm behind the cameras, I'm the Shikdi baby.
Okay.
Shikdi baby. Wow, thank you so much for having me on your platform, guys. It's an honor to be part of Soul Cafe today. I don't even know if this is an we're what is it actually about.
We're just gonna have.
I got goosebumps.
It's a conversation.
We're just gonna have conversations, and we're gonna be talking about one of the things that we've been talking about, we've been having conversations like that as a society, and I think it's important to still have such conversations to such be reach a point where we'd say we've evolved, we've really found a solution to such conversations. We're going to be speaking about gender roles.
Yeah. Because it's a topic that, yes, it's been going on for years, and can you say have we found a solution to whatever happens in this in our societies?
But do we really need a solution for gender roles? I think let's start by unpacking what exactly is gender roles. Before we get into it. Yeah. I think on my end, gender role would be the behavior that is expected of a certain gender. For example, the terms such as a woman belongs in the kitchen and a man belongs in the garden or has to be the provider and likes of that, And much as those are things that were happening back in the day, today if Kianu or I or Shikdi is to say a woman belongs in the kitchen, it's gonna be like, excuse me?
It raises an eyebrow, like,
yes,
what do you mean?
Yes,
Why should I belong in the kitchen while I can also take my bag and go to work?
Or even be a mechanic.
Exactly.
Right? So I think the question that we need to pose is, are gender roles really something that we should be looking at and taking very seriously? Or it's a matter of what I like as an individual, and it doesn't have anything to do with my gender. If Kianu likes to be Major Keys, likes to be in the kitchen, then that's fine. If I like to be in the garden, then that's fine.
That's okay, as long as work is being done.
Yeah.
Like, is that how we should take it?
I guess. As long as the job is done, then why stress about who's doing it?
I'm always saying that, like, I'm a free-spirited person. I'm a person that allows a lot of things. I'm a person that learns through experiences. So I always say that people speak about something because of experience and their experiences within that specific thing. So I come from a household where gender doesn't really matter. Gender doesn't really matter, but your personality does, and your love for life matters. Because there was a time I grew up without my mom for 2 years. She was working overseas, and my dad had to take care of us. And since then, my dad he spends more time in the kitchen than my mother. Yeah, and he's taught me to cook, to prepare meals, and just to make sure that things are being done. I want to say it even. He buys pads. There was a time when my cousin laughed at me and said, "Your dad buys pads."
Right.
I'm like, yeah.
Some things are such a taboo in our societies, like a guy buying pads.
Right. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
or
sense.
even a woman.
It's even embarrassing for them to do that. You can even, if you try and send a mail, maybe to the shops and say, "Can you please buy me pads?"
Sanitary towels,
sanitary towels. Or can you please, when you ask them stuff like that, they're always like,
I'm not scared even to buy. Even I've noticed females, they're so scared to buy condoms.
Yeah.
A lot of females are scared to buy condoms.
Yeah, that's true. I don't even understand why it's such a thing, because we all use these things. You use a condom, you use a pad, and a man needs to understand. I mean, that's nature.
I mean,
a woman needs to use
if something is on the shop racks, why can't anybody just buy them?
Like, I think it's just the background. It depends on where you grew up from, right? When you grow up from the family that says, okay, you shouldn't do this, or the society in general, this shouldn't be done by you, this is embarrassing, you should hide yourself out doing it. You know, when you're younger, you tend to learn. And then whatever you learn when you're young,
you take it with you.
You take it with you, and it's very hard to like
unlearn it.
You see,
you know, there's a thing. I don't know if Major Keys will maybe you might have heard it. You know, it's a thing that guys will say. They see you as weak if your woman or your sister or any female in your life sends you to go and buy pads or anything that is feminine.
It's true. There's the narrative has been taught over decades and decades that there's certain things that a man does not do, and there's certain things that women don't do. And like now, a lot of women have become so independent. They've always been independent, let me put it that way. They've always been independent, but now they're vocal about it. So like I always say, there's always a problem if it's too quiet. But when people start talking, when people start being activists for something or stand for something, that's when you can see, okay, we really need to change. Like this whole thing of people saying you're a feminist, or what is it? Let's use the term feminist. So feminism is not just about empowering a woman all the time. It's about showcasing, say, they exist and they can do everything else. They can do this and they can be the head of everything. I mean, a woman for me is like the pillar of everything. She gives birth to everybody. A man comes from a woman.
That is true.
That is so true.
And then there are cases that you find that most men are not comfortable with a woman that's independent. You know, and I always wonder why. Why is it that men are afraid of independent women? Like, why is that? Why do you think?
Is it like a matter of ego, status?
Growing up, you're always told, it's always put into your head, you need to have your own house one day. You need to have a family. You need to. So now, let's say for instance, you this guy, you get married, and you've got a wife that's earning better than you. Now you're always chilling with the boys. You're like, yo, the boys are having conversations like, yo, I actually did this. Because we actually gossip more than the women gossip. We talk. We do talk, guys. Like, yo, you guys need to know that we talk. So I think it stems from there. Some guys don't want to say, my woman is hierarchy than me. They've got better earning salary. She's basically the head of the house. She's a breadwinner. So that's why you find that most, like statistically, most men are committing suicide. It could either be because of such certain situations in the household. So it all starts from who you involve yourself with, what you've been taught, and how. And you know, that's how I'm like always. It's good for men to talk, so you can learn and take from other people's experiences. To say, yo, I need to let my wife be independent. I need to support her. I need to be on that level, you know. So sometimes it's not just like we have same-sex marriages as well. There's also gender roles, because now you can find like let's say two males together. Let's face it, they're married, but the one person would feel they're superior over the other because the one person is too soft or that. Same with women as well. And I feel like no, equality needs to be there. If I can do something, because we're all born with our own dreams.
We are.
So for me, a gender role should not exist.
Before we get into equality, I want us to, we realize of having the conversation we just had that some of these things are as a result of what we've been taught and growing up with it. It's normal, nothing wrong, but you grow now like, but actually I don't really like it. I do it because I've been told I'm a girl, I need to do it.
That narrative, yeah.
The narrative. How do we now, as a society, unlearn that? Or as individuals for that? When do we start saying, you know what, I'm unlearning this. Actually, it's not going to work for me. I don't want it. Where do we start?
Can I share a story with you? Okay. So like, my nanny, when she always looked after me. Even when I had another nanny, she still took care of me. And she was my godmother, actually. So she only had girls. She had one daughter, but there were always girls there around. So I'm a young boy, I'm a toddler, and I'm playing around with them. She's taking care of me the whole day. She's playing with dolls, right? You know this thing they call dollhouse, Popeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys.
Yeah.
So she always used to say that you're my child, and I'd play along. So now growing up, okay, sharp, it's this, it's that. And there was a time she decided, no, she wants a girl child. She used to put weaves on my head. And there was a time also that they had a picture of me in a dress. Okay. And then my middle brother started calling me a term called Moffy.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And he said, "But with me, I used to cry all the time when my mother is calling me this and that." I didn't understand what it was, but I knew that if you call someone a Moffy, it's a bad thing. People actually get killed for it. Sharp. And growing up, okay, sharp. I used to play with dolls even with my god sister. And as time went on, one day I was in the store with my parents and I cried for a doll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they phoned my aunt and they told my aunt, yo, my father said, so this boy is crying for a doll. And she's like, so buy him the doll if he wants the doll.
Right?
Yeah. And they bought me the doll. And I used to do like this, these mannequin things like, jig with the doll. Sharp. It was cool. And as I still grew up, when I'm fighting with my brothers or anyone of my siblings or my cousins, they say to me I'm a Morphe because they know that story.
Oh.
Sharp. So now it's in my head just to say I'm a weak man.
For anyone that doesn't know what a Morphe is, just let them know.
A Morphe is someone that it's probably a cross-dresser because there's a difference between a Morphe and a gay person to what I know, right? So when the colors use the term, even whites also use the term, it's an Afrikaans term called a Morphe. So a Morphe is basically like someone who's either cross-dresser or they just act. The feminine side comes out more. Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously my brothers told me I'm playing with so many girls all the time. It's because it was my secure space and I knew I could not go out to play soccer in the streets. It's dangerous. The cars are going to bump me. And as I started growing up, when I started grade 1, then I started playing now with boys and stuff. But still, it was always in my head. I'm like, no, I can't go play soccer because they're going to say I'm a Morphe. I didn't kick the ball right.
Oh.
Yeah, so I grew up with that. In my mind. And as I grew up, I started getting to know people. Then my mom had a friend who was also a Morphe. And my dad embraced him so much to the house. He's like, yo, mama's friend is coming over. We're going to drink. We're going to chill.
Beautiful.
So I was like, okay.
It's life.
So
There's
it's
nothing
okay.
wrong with that. Yeah.
It's okay. So that's why when we talk about gender roles, it's about feeling, insecurity, belief, and narrative that you are taught.
Sure.
So I learned that to say, I'm a guy, okay? I don't need to do hard labor all the time. If I'm born to speak, so be it. That's what I can do.
Yeah.
And if I'm born to probably do makeup, it's fine. If I'm born to do hair, it's fine.
Sure.
Exactly.
And if I'm born to be a mechanic, it's fine.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Keanu mentioned equality. I keep on calling him Keanu.
You can call me whatever, darling.
You mentioned something earlier on equality, right? And it now makes me wonder that in our differences, male and female are different, built different. Can there ever be equality if then we are built different?
Built different, like internally? For me, the only difference between a male and a female is genitalia and your, what is called the ovaries, your uterus.
Yes. But you get men having testosterone.
And estrogen, the female. We actually have both.
Yes, but
all of us have both.
More dominant, testosterone is more dominant on the guys, And then that would now mean that, you get your beards, you look more masculine and all of that. And then you'd be more strong, physically.
Physically, yeah.
Yes. So then with such things in place.
But I actually read a study on testosterone. Testosterone can make you strong physically. It can make you weak mentally.
Oh.
Too much testosterone can actually make you weak mentally. So that is something that you need to learn. If you're doing psychology as well, you'll learn that. I just read it somewhere. I'm not sure if it's true. I want to do more research on it. But it says that too much testosterone as well. If you're not active with your testosterone, because it needs to be balanced. Your hormones needs to be balanced. So you have an abnormal hormone that just triggers a lot of things. Your thyroid, violence, you just become angry, your mood swings, all those kind of things. But the person may not even be fit.
From how you'd interpret that study, what do you think actually causes that? Why then, if you have more testosterone, would you be then physically strong but mentally weak?
It's your hormone. Your hormone plays a big role in your entire life.
Could it be,
it triggers your reactions, your emotions. Yeah.
Does it have something to do with ego? Is ego a real thing? Like, you see, testosterone is something that's in man.
Yeah, it's in you. You can't get rid of it.
So, is ego a real thing that is built in a man, or is it just something that you pick up along the way? Like,
it's something that you pick up along the way. Because I don't think I've got an ego. If I do, please correct me. But I don't think I've got an ego. I think people must understand what actually an ego is.
Okay.
Because I think people. There's this thing, I'm going to say it though.
Yeah.
It's a podcast. We call it big dick energy.
Okay.
Right? I always see people who have egos, they're suffering from a complex. Okay. Suffering from a complex, meaning that when they're alone, they're crumbling.
Okay, so how do you interpret it? Like, what's your explanation of an ego?
An ego is how you boast about yourself. It's how you just feel like you're the man, you're the thing, you're the one with the big dick energy.
You're the thing, you want to be felt, your energy.
Yeah. Well, I like my energy to be felt. I like my presence to be felt, but that's not very much of an ego, if I'd say so.
Yo, this is such an interesting conversation. However, we are running out of time. You can just let us know in the comment section what you think of gender roles, how we as a society can evolve from having conversations based on gender roles that we are currently having. We're having conversations on gender roles about what men do, what women do. Is it something that we're always going to be trying to solve, or is it something that we're actually going to get a solution to it and see how we move ahead with life? This is Soul Cafe with myself, Thuso, Major Keys, and Shifty.
All right.
Yeah.